I'm Arpan Patel from College Dunia. So, College Dunia is one of India's leading education portals, catering to students, parents, and education industry players who are seeking information on exams, cutoffs, student reviews, or applying to colleges. Moving on, Department of Design, Nirma University, was established in the year 2017. The department is affiliated to the Nirma University, one of India's leading private universities based in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. It provides an intellectual platform and opportunities for young aspirants to interact and learn through learning to build and building to learn process. Today, we gather here with the head of department, Professor Sangeeta Shroff of the Department of Design, Nirma University. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Arpan. Thank you for inviting me.
Sure, ma'am. So let's proceed with the questions. So, ma'am, I wanted to ask, being the HOD, what are your roles and responsibilities towards the students?
So, the head of the department's job is, along with the team, to build a program, to build a robust academic program, and to forge professional academic content in the program. So, again, I guess I'm the steward of the ship which has to deliver this.
That was a very nice reply, ma'am. It's going to be fun interacting with you. I can say that. So, how do you tend to establish healthy relations with the students and fellow faculty members?
So, yeah, healthy relations is a very important. Health is a very important word in today's time, also in the pandemic scenario. So, with students, whether we like it or not, we have to play a mentor's role. Almost sometimes take on the hues of an academic parent. We are parents in the academia to the students. We have to facilitate a learning environment where there is growth. There is growth. Like the key word is growth, because it's another phase of growth for a student into adulthood. And here we have to supply the fodder for the learner's mind. Fodder. We have to really give them food for their mental growth. And you also have to train them in the doing skills. That you have to also have skills of the profession. So this, if you perform this task, then you're creating a healthy environment. A very important part of also building a healthy relationship with students is a constant dialogue with them. To converse with the students, not just in the classroom. Like it's not just giving a lecture. You have to have a dialogue with students in the classroom. And equally important is a dialogue outside the classroom. So many of us teachers are often on the campus after the class hours for an hour or two, so that any student who wants to come and meet and want to do a one-to-one dialogue with the teachers, we are available for them. So the dialogue happens both inside and outside the studio or the classroom in common parlance words. With faculty colleagues, we can build a healthy relationship if we have a common shared brief, meaning we have a common shared goal. So, we are at the moment in any institution, the team is doing institution building. We are also doing brand building. So in brand building, the role of the team is very, very crucial. So every member of the team has a role and a responsibility. And in fact, in a team, which is often the core team is a smaller team, each one is responsible for one section of the department, meaning they have a very huge couple of responsibilities in the department. So they become authors of that section. So either they are in charge of a year, or they are in charge of the website of the department, or they are in charge of, the students' activity which is on the campus. So then each of the teachers knows that each section that they are authoring is building the brand. And if each one is part of the brief, then we will create a healthy relationship in the department.
So my next question is, how do you try to bring in practical approach towards subjects and make it industry oriented?
So first of all, design is an output-based program. Unlike many other programs in a university, design programs, whether they are architecture, whether they are design, whether they are fine arts, all such programs are output-based programs, in the sense that suppose you're in communication design, you're studying communication design, and at the end of a course, either your output is a film, is a publication of a book, you might do a brand identity for an organization, you might design a graphic novel. So you need to have an actual graphic novel presented on the table for people to look at and see. If you're a product designer, you're either designing simple kitchen objects, appliances, you are designing furniture or IoT based objects, and there has to be a working prototype of each one of them. So that itself is the practical orientation, because if anybody comes to look at the work, they'll look at it and they will try it out, or they'll say, ye bada hai, chota hai, ye hai, wo hai. So there is, anyway, in our kind of programs, in our kind of disciplines, there is a practicality which is embedded in the program. So we are an output-based program. Second is, as a very conscious decision in the Department of Design at Nirma University, in an undergraduate 4-year program, students undergo 4 industry internships. So at the end of every year, there's an internship. So even at the end of first year, it's a 4-week internship, second year, 6 weeks, third year, 8 weeks, and fourth year, 16 to 20 weeks industry or an organizational internship. So they actually have to go and work in an organization, a company, an industry. And what we've also done is, these are credited courses. So they become a 4, 6, 8, 12, 16 credit courses. And, they have to be full-time in the industry for that period of time. So in the first 3 years, these are summer internships of this varying time. And in the last year, they spend the entire semester with an organization. And so that's a classical design education format, which was established by NID, and most design schools follow it. Even architecture schools have what they call an internship in an architectural firm. So the practical know-how is embedded in this way. Now, a lot of the industries are urban centered; they are urban focused, and we would also like our students to be a little focused to semi-urban areas or rural areas. We are not doing as much as we should do, but we also have 2 built-in programs. So we have one small program which is a rural, which is an exposure to a rural area. But there we have an interesting program. We link them up with a social organization which is using design to bring a change in that rural environment. So we send them only for an exposure trip at the moment. And then we also have another course where the students study a cluster. So suppose there's a lock making cluster, or there's a cluster where they are making, they're making forgings, or they're doing vessels. And the students go for 10 or 15 days to do a study to understand what is the whole supply chain in that particular industry. So we do give them these kind of focus. And then because we also have materials and process courses. So industry visits are also like built into the education. That means there are, at least in the third and fourth semester, the students are taken to visit many industries. We also take them to see national and international expos. So if there is a plastics exposition which is happening, or if there is a Internet of Things expo which is happening, or there's a print and publications expo which is happening, then we would send students for 2 or 3 days to go and see this, so that there's a little orientation to what's happening in this sector.
Okay, ma'am. So then, what about the curriculum? How is it strategized for the students, and how
Yeah.
often does it get
How often?
updated?
How often do
Does it
we?
get updated?
Okay. So many of the good processes of curriculum development are embedded in the practices at Nirma University itself. Okay. So I think Nirma, I'm now 3 years old in the Nirma University, and have been at other campuses earlier. I've taught in other institutions. But one thing I can say about Nirma University is it has very robust academic checks and balances. So, like the curriculum is built in the department by the faculty, but it has to be presented and endorsed by a board of studies. So the board of studies meets twice in the year, and prior to the board of studies coming, for example, when we write the curriculum or the syllabus of a program, then before we take it to the classroom, it has to go to the board of studies. And the board of studies endorses it and says or suggests changes if it's required. Then it's taken to the academic council. And then the academic council will also give their own feedback, and then we have to make the necessary changes to it. And then that is notified. So then this curriculum or this syllabus is taught in the classroom. But having notified a syllabus and delivering in the classroom is not adequate, because you can write a very good syllabus, but you need not deliver a good syllabus, because you also have to teach the syllabus. So at the end of the semester, we have a viva, what we call a semester end jury. And in the semester end jury, there are several teachers who are looking at the work of students. So when you're looking at the work of students, you know that has that course gone well? Has it added new learning, new skills to the students? Has it been conducted successfully? So at the end of semester end jury, the teachers who were part of the jury, and there are also external members. So there has to be an external member on every jury panel. So they also give a feedback. They give a feedback to the students. They give a feedback to the internal team. And then the internal team also will say, ये course थोड़ा time कम था कि इस course में उतना अच्छा काम, new work has not happened. So then it also becomes the checks and balance on whether the content of the course has to change or the delivery of the course has to change. So these are all mechanisms, and we are still a young institute. We need to go through 1 or 2 cycles for us to know, because our students will have to work in the industry to come back to us to say, this course is helping me a great deal. What I learned in this year is of such use to me. So that kind of feedback will come when a first batch will be placed in the industry.
So with regards to that answer, I wanted to ask, what are your views upon the placements and higher education about the students from your department?
Okay. So again, I come back to Nirma University, that because Nirma University is For example, Institute of Technology at Nirma University is celebrating its silver jubilee this year. So the university has been here for 25 years and built a very solid brand. So some of those accolades or best practices we also imbibe or we also inherit. So Nirma University has a very good centralized um, placement office, and it has the leading significant organizations and companies of the country coming to do recruitment. So they might be coming to recruit engineers, recruit managers, recruit pharmacists, scientists, uh, commerce graduates. So you have the works here who come every year from January to April to do recruitment. So now the placement office will also tell them that, look, we also have a design department and you can also, we have that as an offering. But besides that, one important group of people who could be our recruiters are design studios, because many designers in the country have set up their design consultancies, and which are also very, very successful. They are also brand names and who have facilitated many industries. So while industries may have a design department, there are many design companies, design services, which are offering companies to multiple industries which are there. So they would become our recruiters. So normally what would happen is our final project that the students have to do for 16 or 20 weeks. When the students intern for 16 to 20 weeks in a company, in an industry, or in a studio house, then if their performance is good, the company may absorb them there itself. So that is one possibility of recruitment also. And then each of the teachers who are there here in the department, all of us come from some professional practice background. So we are also connected with industry, we are also connected with professionals. So when people know that there's a department of design at Nirma University, they also approach us. So for example, because of the internet, you have so many service industries from Chennai and Hyderabad who in our second year of existence were already sending us that, do you have students who can join our company? So, the internet is also helping a great deal.
And what about the higher education part? Masters, I mean.
So yes, that's a very good question because a lot of our students want to do post-graduation. What we've also done at Nirma University is, because at the moment we are offering an undergraduate program, we've made it not specialization based. So if you're doing communication design, we don't have web development separately, or new media or film as a separate course. At an undergraduate level, we feel we should teach the students everything. They should get exposed to everything, and then they can decide that, this is my area of interest or this is my area of competency and I want to go ahead in this. So at an undergraduate level, we teach them all things, but through electives, we give them a pathway to take extra credits. So if every student will do 2 film courses. But if a student says, I want to become a filmmaker, then through electives, they'll pick up 2 more film courses, so that when they go into the market, they would have a portfolio of 4 short films that they have made. So similarly, in product design, if a student is interested in furniture design, one furniture design course is a core course, but the other courses will be you pick on through elective process. So a lot of our students are very interested to do higher studies. And again, Nirma University has MOUs with more than 30 universities worldwide. So if a student wants to do a post graduation in any of those universities, we can do the collaboration. Uh, Having said that, we are also planning within a year or two to commence an integrated master's program in design. So very soon, Nirma University's Department of Design will also be offering integrated masters as well as a PhD program. And because now our fourth year students are very keen to start applying for higher education, so this week itself, we are this week and in the coming week, we are doing talks with very specific universities to which have a very interesting design focus. So those universities we are inviting to talk to our students. Like there is a university in Norway whose design program is focused on sports appliances. So we've invited them. So if any student is interested to go into that. There's another university whose design program is very focused on technology and engineering. So those students who are interested in those kind of areas will go to that. So now we are calling specific universities to talk to our students so that they also make up their mind that it's not just doing post-graduation anywhere. In fact, we tell our students that you shouldn't do a post-graduation immediately on doing an undergraduate studies. Should work for a couple of years, get a flavor of what the industry is requiring and wherein lie your skill sets. So work for a year or two in the industry and then go for a post-graduation. So that's our advice to all our students.
So, ma'am, my next question is regarding extracurricular activities. So do you have any extracurricular activities or programs to enhance the skills of the students?
So again, I'll mention Nirma University. Nirma University extracurricular activities is a very crucial part of Nirma University. Sometimes we feel that, every 15 days there's a program. So there's a essay writing competition, or there is a theater competition, or there is a, sports events. So the sports events at Nirma last a whole month. So there are like 20 to 30 sports from individual to team sports. And Nirma places a great emphasis on that. There are quizzes, there are debates, there are cooking competitions, there are building competitions. So, in Nirma, this is a very crucial part of academics. Being also connected with UGC, the NSS activity is also very, very crucial. The National Social Service of the Government of India. So every department has to have a NSS chapter where you adopt a village or more and your students go and work in that village. So from this year, that will also start at Nirma. So one is Nirma University has multiple extracurricular activities, but Department of Design also has very specific extracurricular activities. Like the students have started a film club since 3 years, and every Friday without fail they have a film showing. And they're doing it very interestingly that they take a genre of film. Like they'll take mystery thrillers and then they'll do a festival of that. Or they will take up issues of farmers and then they will do a whole series of films on that. Or they will take up issues where children are the protagonist. And the film club is a very robust club, completely self-propelled. It's a very interesting group which is there. They make their own posters, like a film censor board. They have their own board advertisement which comes out. And what they also do after the viewing of the film is they have a hour-long discussion on the film. So it's a self-propelled group, and then there's a new club which has started, which is the Press Club. So there's a group of very young students. They've just completed first year and they're very serious. And every year, so they're going to take out a tabloid. So their tabloid money, a newspaper, a 4-page or a 8-page newspaper, and their focus is going to be on design. Then we have the senior most students have started a brainstorming or a think tank group they call the Powwow group, and they talk of all the socio-political current scenario of the country. And so at the moment, design and architecture students are part of that discussion. Teachers are not part of the discussion. The students themselves have every Sunday the powwow group. So then we have a volleyball team. There's a group of girls who are very serious about volleyball. So when they are on campus, every evening they go to play volleyball and they participate in state level, national level volleyball competition. But design is a very time consuming study activity. So they really have to specially carve out time to be part of this. And then the other extracurricular, I don't know whether you can call it extracurricular activities. The moment there is a conference in Ahmedabad, I'm talking of prior to the pandemic. If there was an international or a national conference or an exhibition, we would fund the students to become participants. So they would, even if there's a student fee of 2,000 rupees or whatever amount, whichever group of students wants to go, we ensure that they attend this, because the students become so enterprising that they come back and say that this person is very good, invite them as a visiting faculty, or they will go and forge an internship possibility with that expert which is there. And now with the pandemic and with everything, so many webinars happening online, a lot of the students are attending online webinars. They are part of Association of Designers of India. So they are becoming student members of professional bodies. So we encourage this. Over to you, Arpan.
Yeah, man, sure. So when you came to the college, what was your vision and how are you trying to achieve the same?
So I would say my vision was to build quality education in design. Many of us who are alumni of NID, and particularly from alumni from the 70s and 80s, who studied, which we say was the golden period of NID, because it was a period of very liberal, lateral design education. The design pedagogy was also very intense and engaging, yet very unstressful. Meaning, if the students had stress, I don't think the stress was because of education, but it was a very intense and engaging program. So, though we would like to create a very pulsating, active environment in the new institutions that we are building, where each individual student is taught to dream of their own goal. And, what is it that they are aspiring for? What is their goal? So our vision is to address each individual student's dream or goal. It's not an easy task in today's time, because students are very distracted by the social media with online gaming world. And, the students of today are very responsible. They are very intelligent. They want to learn a lot, but they have many other preoccupations. So the task is for teachers a little more challenging in today's time.
So, ma'am, I'll move on to the last question.
Hmm.
How does your department enhance the skills of faculty and prepares them according to industry standards?
Okay, so one is again, Nirma University also is a demanding university for its teachers. Not just because it's a private university. I think the founders of Nirma University and the current management, they don't want to, the word to use is, you don't want to reduce the academic value in the department. There are no shortcuts allowed. So you have to complete the syllabus. You have to perform your syllabus with quality. And for career progression of faculty, it's not the number of years you have served. It's the quality appraisal is very, very crucial at Nirma University. So if you want to rise in your academic standards or also in your position, then the university demands that every year you need to present 2 to 4 papers in reputed journals. You have to do research. You have to do a minor project which is funded by a scientific body, a government body, or a private industry. You have to have a patent if you're an engineer, or you have to do an interesting marketing, brand development, or you have to have an innovation in something. So in your appraisal as faculty, these are things that faculty have to demonstrate. So if you don't demonstrate this, you'll continue to remain at the level at which you are. So you can be a very popular teacher, but you need not be popular in the academic checks and balances if you've not done this part of the performance. And to do that, the university also facilitates faculty members by having regular training program. They also bring in many interesting projects from Government of India, from Department of Science and Technology, with many international associations which are Government of India and a university abroad, or an organization abroad, or a government. There's an intra-governmental projects they bring in. And Nirma University also has many MOUs with industries, like for example with Tata Motors or with Telco or with ISRO. There are many such MOUs which are there. So if the faculty member is interested, then you need to start finding out what is happening on the campus, and you can forge a linkage with whoever is doing an interesting project and is a principal investigator in a research project or an implementation project. What we are also trying to do is, now it's becoming mandatory for faculty members to also do a PhD. And it's not just to get a PhD degree, it's also to do some primary or a quality research in some area or practice in some area. So maybe in a year's time, we also want to start a PhD program in the Department of Design, not just to facilitate students, but initially to facilitate our own faculty members. So if a faculty member also wants to do a PhD or wants to do a post-doctoral work also, then the PhD program could help the in-house faculty for the same.
That was very well said, ma'am. That's all from my end. So,
Okay.
do you want to say any parting words before we end this meeting?
So it's a it's a very challenging period for all the universities with all their programs, because India is the country's populace has suddenly realized that the most important investment option is education. So even, I mean, it's so heartening to know that, a vegetable vendor, a rickshaw, auto rickshaw driver, or a cycle rickshaw driver is putting her or his money into educating their wards, because they're seeing that social emancipation and economic emancipation will only come with higher education. So the country suddenly has got universities springing up everywhere, and suddenly design has got the fancy of all universities, both public and private. So, for example, design departments, now there are 4 NIDs. Every IIT is starting a design department. Earlier, they started with postgraduate programs. Now IITs are offering undergraduate programs. School of Planning and Architecture is also starting a design program. All institutes of technology are offering design programs. Many private universities are offering design programs. And design programs are not inexpensive. They are expensive education. Okay. So first of all, there's a lot of competition, but there are very few teachers, and there are very few good teachers. So the country, both the government institutions and private institutions, also need to think of how to train teachers. Because a lot of people may want a teacher's job, but you don't want to just take people who are looking for a job. You're looking for people who are looking for it as their vocation, as their mission, as something that they have a deep interest in or a core competency. Because you can be a very good professional, but you need not be a good teacher. So that is an area that all of us need to look at, is to develop more teachers in the country. But the good thing also is a lot of very good practitioners feel a sense of responsibility to come to academia and teach. So there are many designers in the country who run very successful practices, and they feel that their way to give back to the country, to give back to the nation, to give back to their alma maters is to come and teach part-time. So we benefit a great deal by this, because then when a visiting faculty comes who is anyway enriched with professional practice and with commercial practice, then they bring an interesting input into the department. And what we also try and do is then we take an external faculty and an internal faculty together to do a course. So then there is a very good kind of symbiotic synergy that is built, and the students also benefit from this. So thank you, Arpan. That was a very good set of questions. It also helps us build our mandate. Your questions were so appropriate, and thank you so much.
Thank you for those kind words, ma'am. It was very great talking with you. Thank you for your time.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.